All right, I'm unmuted. Here we go. All righty. What a day. So the website a couple weeks ago, we got it up and going, got everything rolling, and drop in the comments make sure you can hear me okay. And the website just things were all kind of a mess, but we were kind of in that final stages of testing and making sure it all worked out. And then the crowdfund part launched earlier this week on Monday. No big deal. And it was set to go live for the crowdfund today. But this morning when I went to check it, thank goodness I have web guys and gals and all that sort of stuff working on this, because they made the difference. Or they basically, somewhere on the host end, server end, way down the line, some update took place and I couldn't take any credit cards or all those sort of things. So it's kind of a mess, but it's up and running and it's working now. And really what I wanted to do today is just tell you where the project came from and a little bit about just kind of the background of the project and where some of the ideas came from and kind of my interests. And then we'll lead into a few other things. And I certainly, if I'll have time, I'll show you some work and kind of doodle a little bit, draw a little bit, ink. And then the other part is that kind of at that point in time, open up for Q&A and kind of get your guys' comments and thoughts and ideas and all of those types of things. So really, when it comes down to where this project came from and how it came into existence, is I would say it was about five years ago. And about I printed my first comic book, The Man from Snowy River, and see the posters behind me. Got this guy, Man from Snowy River, and my grandfather could quote it from memory. It was kind of a fun little game just to ask him to recite it. And about 5 years ago, this story, The Last Colony, was kind of in the back of my mind and kind of rolling around. And it came out of an interest. There's several movies that kind of come to mind that relate back to this. And one of them, The Road, which is a really a dreary sort of a movie, but in a lot of ways, it's actually quite uplifting and hopeful. Of course, you have to get to the end, and it's just a hard movie to watch. I don't know if you've seen it. Viggo Mortensen, I believe, is in it. Book of Eli, no relation to this. Denzel Washington, Gary Oldman, I think, is in that one. Just about an overt a sense of a desire to accomplish something that you're called out to do, and along the way, you're going to gain people that also have that same interest or that same desire to be a part of that whole. And then other movies like Defiance deals with World War II. I don't know if you've seen that one. Who's in that? Daniel Craig, I think. Yeah, Daniel Craig, of Jews that survived in the forest, in the wilderness, and even at one point or another fought off the German army. Other movies, Children of Men is another movie that comes to mind. Incredible. I think one of my favorite things about Children of Men movie is, what was that, 6 minutes, a 6 minute straight shot, like no cuts, nothing. Just absolutely amazing. I'd say Mad Max, even though this is not a Mad Max comic book. The Last Colony is not Mad Max, even though I love that story. What else? Black Hawk Down. It's another really good one. Well, in any case, all these types of movies. And I think, one of the things and one of the questions that came out with, as far as like the story of The Last Colony, is that obviously, hopefully, God willing, would be sort of a It would be basically a way of, how do I say it? Post America, things go dark. And again, God willing, we had never had sort of like down a path of civil war and all those types of things. But I kind of came out of a question of what would that look like, and how would we work together, and all those different things. And I went down kind of the path of, talking to, how would we survive, as far as what, again, what would that look like? What would some of our struggles be? And I end up talking to all sorts of people about this. I met with survivalists. I met with those like police and sheriff's deputies and those types of things. I met with either regular Joes, and just kind of asking questions and doing tons of research. And I think a lot of ways it would almost end up in sort of tribalism or some sort of thing like that. And also around this, even slightly before 5 years ago, I went through Fire Academy, and it opened up a whole new world in terms of just, I don't know, it really put something in me that there's just entirely different way of looking at the world and how we go about preserving each other's safety and well-being and those types of things. And out of that really started developing a story. And, and of course, then you come to about a year ago, I was about ready to send this to crowdfund, and off to crowdfund. And I was going to use like Indiegogo or some sort of thing at the time. And then what ended up happening is, of course, COVID hit, all that sort of stuff. And it was just like, oh no, is this the right time? Should I not do this? Was this the right subject matter? Should we even dive into this subject matter? With artwork or illustration, you're inevitably going to step on toes. So that was the other thing about that too. How am I going to like all those types of questions came to mind. Should I even do this? I think as artists or illustrators, the fear kind of picks in and drops in, and you're like, oh no, this is not necessarily what I want. And, worst timing ever, of course, with the lockdowns, all those types of things. And I think I realized two things out of that, two major things out of that. One is that I realized that, as independent creators, as independent in ways of changing the way we think in terms of possibilities, the way we connect with other people, the importance of connecting with other people, and ways of how we go about doing that. And that has, without a doubt, been this past year. There's no doubt about it, about how can we connect with each other, and what does that look like. And it seemed like sort of a thing where the importance of, well, you know what? I was meeting with somebody to start the website and kind of move in this direction on my own platform, all that type of stuff. And so I ended up heading in that direction, and it seemed like the perfect opportunity to go ahead and crowdfund this on our own platform and put all those sort of things on our very own platform. And it seemed like it was the best case scenario. And the other part of that, as far as like when I look back at the movies and those types of things I was talking about earlier, like The Road or Book of Eli or those types of things, it really came down to just the importance of reaching out and finding our humanity, and finding the importance of our humanity, and less self-serving. For example, one of the things that I think is so incredibly interesting, before I get to that, one of the things is that, this overall arching theme of The Last Colony is it is a story of what it is to how far would we be willing to go for our loved ones, and even those that we ultimately fall in love with, how far are we willing to go for them, and the depths that we'd be willing to go for. And one of the things that I was going to just say earlier is that if you look at, it's really kind of interesting. I was doing some research and looking up some things and looking up graduations of previous years, and all the graduations of previous years for commencements and all those types of things. All the speakers, they're generally talking about, be successful, how to be successful, make your money, be famous, all these types of things. And the interesting thing is this year, I think it was more about the subject. Something changed. Of course, this past year, nothing's normal anymore, but something changed, and the subject was fix the world. And I don't necessarily make any kind of, statement that The Last Colony is going to fix the world or make sort of peace happen. But I do think it brings the importance of that question of how far are we willing to go for our loved ones, and the distance that we would go, even if regardless of the struggles or the problems that we face in a Civil War setting, which I think in a lot of ways there would be a lot more community-based tribalism, those types of things. Roving bands. A really good movie that kind of hits on that sort of subject is The Domestics. You might look at that. It's an okay movie. It's kind of fun, but it's kind of actually in that genre. To give you kind of an idea, what our overall plan is with the book is that, with kind of all this in mind, is that this is our first installment, and kind of what we want to do is take this as a platform to basically, well, printing a book is not cheap. It's not something easily done. And so one of the things that we thought we'd do is break this up and take the first part of the story of The Last Colony and split it up in the first part, and then split it up in a way that we would have the full graphic novel, as it would cost more to print that full graphic novel. And we wanted to really show that we could, first and foremost, do this on our own platform, which is incredibly exciting from that point of view. But then also we wanted to take that in another direction so that we could, again, gain the, lack of a better term, the social proof with you guys, with your help, and to be able to make this project into reality that then would lead into the momentum of the full graphic novel. And the other part of that is that kind of our big picture idea is that we want to offer a way to help out other artists, propel and make this into reality, and providing either way of mentorship, education, support, those types of things. And so a lot of ways, even though this is sort of today for our little podcast and all this sort of stuff, live stream is sort of a way to celebrate just getting the comic book out and getting it going and getting the live stream. And then here we are with the crowdfund and getting that going. And more than anything is that I really see you guys on the other end as the investors. You're investing in this bigger idea, which was really actually simple. And I think it's the main focus, be it of The Last Colony or of really the last year we've faced, is finding ways to directly connect with each other and being more deliberate with that, in reaching out and in helping artists, individuals, the local farmer type of a thing, of reaching out and directly connecting to those around us, instead of kind of you either go, and we all know like Marvel and DC and those types of things, but it's changing in a way where it's more about the independent artists. And that's what this is about. So as far as the project goes, is that, and I'll get to the questions here. As far as the project goes, we're about 75% done, and which is all the penciling is done. There's 4 phases basically. So there's the type pencil, the inking, the coloring, then it goes to lettering, and then it kind of wraps up in a nice little package, and then ultimately to print. So we're about 75% of the way through that entire process. Excuse me. And then what our goal is that through this, we'll do live streams through this entire like crowdfund thing. We'll do a bunch of live streams, and I'll be inking or coloring the comic. And so you get to, again, be a part of this. And I want to help make that as much as possible. And so that by the end of the crowdfund, which will be July, so 60 days to raise the funds, by that end, we'll be at kind of a spot where we'll be able to, the whole comic book will be finished. And then that next day, June 6th, when the funds come in, then we'll send straight to print. So that's kind of our overall approach and idea. The biggest part of this, though, is that we can't do this project without you. There's no way it's impossible. But it's an amazing opportunity so that we might be able to come together. And like I said, this is an awesome opportunity to directly support artists, directly support, again, switching our mindset to that more direct support approach. That being said, as far as, I'll put this up. So as far as what's an ash can. So an ash can is where you basically, what you have is that back in, I guess in the, it'd be kind of the 60s and 50s, they had kind of that you'd have a full printed version of the comic, which is your normal size, your, whatever is this 6x10 thereabouts. They would make a smaller version, and the ash can is roughly, I think it's 8x6. I think, no, is that about right? Is that 8x6? No, 5x8. I'll get the number right. It's 5x8 in size, and it is basically, so the PDF that maybe some of you got through when you signed up for the email, that would be an ash can size where you maybe have like 8 to 10 pages. This one, I think we have signed up for 12 pages was our goal. I think that's what we had. We had 12 pages was our goal, to be able to really kind of show a little bit more of the process of putting together the comic, but it would be the art. It would be all the art included within 12 pages. And then, so that's essentially the ash can. It's just an ash can version that they would actually, what you'd do is that you'd find them by the ash can at like the doctor's office, or in the, if you're waiting for the subway system, there'd be a comic book sitting right there on the side. That's easy and cheap to print. And then they would use that as a promotional factor. And so that's kind of a cool thing. I thought it'd be fun to see if we could bring that back and see if you guys like that or not. And then let me do this actually. Let's do a tour. Here we are. Okay. So as far as the website goes, there's our lovely live stream. Let's see here. So if we go to Patreon and back this campaign, is basically the route to get to it. And then one of the things, so I wanted to kind of go over the rewards and options and those types of things. So just any support. And I know that's kind of one of the things, and I know that this time frame that we're in is money and resources are very limited. which is why I think it's even more important that we directly connect with the actual artist and directly support those around us. And it's so important to, even if, let's say, it's so important to be able to do that. So we do have just a basic support to put in there, and you can drop your own here at the top as far as if you want a different amount. So you can put whatever amount you want in here at the top. Let's see here. A signed comic. So that's basically just one signed comic, and you'll get a few as far as a few of the merch. Let me go. So some of the stuff we've already actually printed and gotten. So we have our character Cobb. Haven't announced his name. Ooh. Our character Cobb here. And we get Gwen here. She's got her Indian feathers in there. So Gwen and Cobb. So those are the stickers basically. And there's like a few other random things that we want to throw in there for you guys. And the next one, which is you get 2 signed copies and the ash can, which includes, again, that small 5x8 version, 12 pages of the comic. And then it bumps up to, you get that plus an original. And this one's basically the first come, first serve. And it's my intent is to ultimately all the art goes. This one just includes not the cover, not that one, which is Gwen there. It would be included this type of art. So it would be your inked version of your art. So it wouldn't be colored. It's just that, like I said, the inked version. Where is it? There it is. So this one. And so that's a first come, first serve basis. And then we have this one, which deals specifically with this artwork, which is Gwen here, or another character, Jamie. So those are our different characters, and that's what this one deals with. And let's see here. Then we have this last one, which also includes 2 signed comics, and ash can, and the original cover, and which is the front and back of this one right here. So it includes both of those. Let's see what else we got here. And then the last one, if holy moly, I'm incredibly humbled. We're only going to hold these to three folks, where you would be able to, I'll just make an original artwork that for you about the last colony and the sharing of that last colony with you. And of course, signed copies and the ash can and all that sort of good stuff. So that's kind of the rundown of what we have there. Hopefully that answered the question. Let's see what else we have here. And that's it. That's it. One of the things I did want to show is that here at the top, you have sort of, let's go ahead and do that. That's kind of my favorite here. So when you go to checkout, just so you kind of know the process, it is going to ask, and this is one of the cool things down here at the midway through here, it'll ask for a username and password. One of the reasons that we want to do this is, again, like I said earlier, I really consider you guys as your backers, not only backers of the project, but your investors, your stockholders. Maybe that's a better word of saying it. And to be able to ultimately see this project happen and then help propel to the next. After you do sign up under the my account, it'll show more information right here in terms of just kind of being able to follow the progress of the project. You can put in your address, all those types of things. So it does share all of that. I think that's it. I think that's all I had. Oh, I did want to do this. Let me bring it up here first. Did want to share. I was going to share the video.
I don't even have a
here we
script
go.
for this. I don't even have a
It's a nice beard.
layout of what I'm going to say here.
Yeah, we don't need to hear him yak. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. All right, so I'll play this trailer for you guys. Crowdfunding's not There we have it. I'll do this. So yeah, there's the trailer. And then we'll show this up here. So that's where you can go to go ahead and help me crowdfund this and make this into the real deal. And then while I'm doing that, this is, well, let me set up here something real quick. Wanted to there we go. Hopefully that light will work. I wanted to, so this is my my last colony box of art. No peeking. Oh, shoot. No peeking. There's a quick glance. It's too bright. I will show you this one. I have shown this one on. And really what I wanted to do is just I'll ink and kind of yak here and throw out your questions, all that sort of fun stuff. If I learned that pen. There we are. One of the things that actually I'll do when I ink is that I will have a scrap piece of paper that isn't going to mess up anything if I screw up. Just kind of work into it. So that answer your question, Chris? about the ash cans. Hope I answered that. Let's see here. Always hard to know where to start. I'll rotate this thing all over the place. So it's always nervous. You're like, oh no, am I gonna mess this up? Because ink is so permanent. You always feel that way. You just dive in, right? And you just kind of go for it. I will do. I call it my. Where is it? I lost it. I do like to wear my Michael Jackson glove. May he rest in peace. All right. Yeah. That way I don't smudge the pencils. I do. I also like to, I'll have it up on my screen. Some of my favorite artists up. Just kind of as, even though I'm still doing, I still have it pretty much well laid out. Oh, it's gonna ask for me passcode. Where are you, Instagram? Oliver Coppola. I think that's that. Oh, not quite. I think that's how I say his name. One of my favorite artists. But I'll use him. Just I'll look at his stuff because it's just how he does his line work is just so awesome. There we go. Okay. Oh, look at that. Let's see here. It's okay. We share this, right? Yeah, dude. It's so funny to hear his. He would recite it. I remember getting out the book of The Man from Snowy River, and I think one of the funny things is at that time when I was figuring out what should be my first comic, I just the and I think, I don't know, just one of the things that, of course, Chris, my cousin here, that I think is so cool about that story is just overcoming the impossible, which is kind of the Australian spirit. And it's something that's kind of a part of our family, and the importance of holding to not just our heritage, but holding to the fact that we can do the impossible. And I think that's exactly it. And so he was so funny when I was just so amazed. How can this old guy remember this? He had a good memory, but I just, well, because the other thing about that whole story, I think I didn't mention, is that he was such a he would look at my artwork, and I was doing abstract painting early on, and he's like, it's interesting, you should do comics, make a comic book. And I was just my academic, like, look at me. I was just like, what are you talking about? That's a ridiculous thing. But he was spot on. He was spot on as far as like, man, he's so right. And here I am drawing awesome helicopters. Do I have a preference with ink, pen size, all that sort of stuff? I'm working with, let's see if you can see that, if it focuses, 1.0. I like currently right now, I like these Copic markers. I have used, so this is tiny. I do also have, I haven't even drawn yet, but let's see what else I have. This one's even smaller. And I can't even, there it is. You can't even see the point on that one. The camera won't even focus. But I do also have a few of these. These are awesome. Your Copic markers, these brushes, they're really nice. And you have a bare angle there. I like these brushes. They're really good for blacking in these huge spots right here. A big thing is there's another brush one. Yeah, these are the ones I basically work with. These 5 maybe. That's a big brush. Thing is that you don't want your hand or your arm or one of those things, and that's why you're rotating it all the time. But yeah, I should keep rolling through these. Let's see here. So Chris is talking about my grandfather. Yeah, he had pi halfway memorized, all memorized. Maybe can you memorize all of pi? I don't know. Yeah, he loved math. He absolutely loved math. Hey, Braden, thanks for, man, you're awesome. Thank you for contributing. I saw you do that earlier today. It means a world to me. It's so awesome. And Braden actually did an internship with me, and it was such an absolute pleasure. And then he's off, and now he's about to ready to teach social studies and hopefully correct the next generation. But what kind of comic artists have influenced you or influenced? I would have to say this, Oliver Coppola. I'll put his, I should show his stuff. I don't know, but I don't want to YouTube copyright it. I don't know those. Let's see here. I will put up the address. Let me do it that way. I'll post that up here. Yeah, so that's all Oliver's stuff. He's one of my favorite artists. In part, how I just love his inking style. He does like a good, really good. Some of his works, he does inking, but then he does really cool washes with it, like really cool ink washes. I think they're really awesome. But he's been my greatest by far. There's been a few others. I can't. I have a stack of them. I'm terrible with names. Who we got there? Jason Brubaker. He's like an internet all-star as far as comic book printing and crowdfunding. One of those days, I can't think of the artist's name right now. He does this family artwork. It's almost like a modern day family circle that you'd find back in the day. Oh, thank you, R2D2 24 Life, for sure. Thank you. No, it means the world, and it's exciting that we have to take huge risks in our life, and there's no doubt, like today, full of mishaps and things not necessarily working right, and trying to get ready for this, and you're just like, oh man, what did I do to deserve this? But it has nothing to do with that. It's more about opportunities, which is kind of what I think I was talking about earlier, in that with the different movies and those types of things that have influenced. So no, thank you. It means the world. Let's get copious stuff up there. You're supporting this guy. So funny. All right. Like I said, I never know where to start on some of these things. I don't know how you guys feel. Because then the other thing is you're just like deathly afraid of like, especially when you start out inking, you're like, oh no, I'm going to make a huge mistake. And then I have in the past, I have worked with actual ink. Like I went, like materials are so stupidly important to me. It shouldn't be. Like I love nice paper. I love working on nice paper. And I went so as far as I found like the world's best, and I'm not kidding, the world's best ink. And I think it's one of these things where like this ink is like, it's probably been around since the Gutenberg press. Kind of funny. But it's only made in Germany, which is hilarious. Oh, I just let's see here. I just get my inks. Oh, that one I got it from I had to find some place that would ship it to me all the way from England. I don't remember. I bookmark. I can't remember. One of these days, when England maybe opens up. Who knows when? If. Go check out that store. One of the hard things about inking is that when you start inking, you'll start just all the little tiny issues just seem to pop out. Yeah, I've done like the quill pens before. I don't know if I like them as much as the other. I don't know. I don't know. I just get the best action with these. Also, these Copic markers work really well with washes, but most really good inks that you get will do that too. Am I inking on an incline? A lot of times I'll not. Well, today I'm not. But I do have a drafting table. I'll sometimes do that on. So it's just easier with the setup that I have going on today. The other thing I think is really important with inking is that, like I made a little boot right there, is that you don't, when you make mistakes and it's inevitable, you don't panic. Two things. One is you can always go back digitally and really clean it up, which you certainly want to do before you color. Looks nice. Hey. Thank you, R2D2 24 Life. That's awesome. Appreciate it. Means the world. Yeah, I'm such a. I think it's one of these things where we, and I do this too, where like, we're just such a big habit of, and I know this might be, when over this past year, we've lost the opportunity to connect with artists from like the Comic Cons, and it's really made things like this to be able to directly support artists. I know that like crowdfunding's been around for a while, and I think it's one of these things where like even I can't think of his name, the guy that made Spawn. Oh shoot, see, I'm terrible with names. That Image Comics, and just realizing the possibility and potential. And I think it really comes down to the fact of directly connecting to you guys and to those that would be supporting comics and all that. And it's such a cool thing to be able to do that. And so, yeah, thank you, RTD2 24 Life. Yes, Todd McFarlane. There we go. That guy. Kind of a misfit. And, he really did change the industry. That was kind of the other thing that over with like comic book stores, man, they've been absolutely reamed with this, what we're being told is this pandemic. Gosh, he was reamed so bad where, not him rather, but just the comic book industry, the comic book store. I feel so, and that like through diamond distribution, and just kind of a sad story. And that's definitely where, what do you call it? Crowdfunding definitely comes in as a new possibility of really helping out the individual artist. and certainly we love our Marvel movies and those types of things. Guardians of the Galaxy absolutely nailed it. The first one, second one's okay, and I don't know. It's the lost art of certainly what Stan Lee was able to do, and of course the super wokeness that has advanced in on us. See if I can finish this helmet before the hour. Oh, I was thinking about another movie that was this movie about Awake. Did you see this on Netflix? This whole thing about being awake. Tell you what movie I'm looking. Was it The Army of Darkness? No, that's a classic. No, the Army of Dead. What was that with? Shoot, help me find that one. Army of Dead with the Drax guy. See, I told you. Comes later out, I think later out in this month. Yeah, so this is going to be one of those pages. Let's see here. With any of these, the inked version. So kind of my process, maybe I should talk about that. Kind of my process I do is that, yeah, I do it. I just like the classic ink. Well, almost classic, with the pencil here or the pen. And then what I'll do is I'll scan this in, and I'll do all my coloring, flats, all the holds, all that type of stuff. And I'll do all my inking on here, and then I'll do it actually on my tablet over here. And it'll be basically where I'll get it all in there, and then from there it goes ultimately to print. But the original artwork, which is this, will be shipped to you, and we'll have it in a nice little what do you call it? Acid-free little the 2 mil polyurethane cover, so it protects the art when it ships to you, and it'll be in those nice boxes that won't bend up and all those types of things. Because that's the other thing, you'll see like mailbox back guys. They'll like, this one won't fit in the mailbox, and so let's just fold it in half, and it says "Do not fold" on it. Well, they got a hard job. Be nice to your mailman, mail person, mail woman, whatever. Be nice to them. sometimes I find, I don't know, it's kind of just in a mood where like either sometimes what line do you think is going to work the best? And I don't know, sometimes you're either pushing or pulling. I don't know. Whatever gets you the greatest accuracy, I guess. Oof. Oh, we got here. Yeah, mine of those. So I haven't got into like I've done a little bit of Gab. I am on Minds. I believe I'm Elijah _ Tikvah, as is right up here at the top right hand corner. Elijah _ Tikvah, I think, is what I am. I was on Parler. I'm not on Parler now. Parler's it's kind of a sad story. And that's kind of the other thing. I'm not, and I know this is, again, I'm for all sorts of thoughts and opinions and ideas of of this so-called thing, crazy thing called life. And no, we certainly don't have it all figured out. And I'm no exception to that rule. But I am very much for freedom of expression and speech and yeah, that. So I haven't been on Parler since that kind of went AWOL. I wouldn't BitChute. I just haven't had the time or that's kind of the thing, is that being able to, I love putting out this stuff, putting out this content, and as a content creator, I suppose. But yeah, Odyssey I haven't heard of. I'll have to look into Odyssey. I haven't heard about that one. Or MeWe locals. I don't know. And that's kind of the thing with like, and so that one thing that we're trying to do with our website, and I like locals, or like, was it Subscribestar, Patreon, and Patreon, like within the comic book community. I know if you've listened to, what was it, Friday Night Tights or Nerdrotic, one of the things is that Patreon definitely just, again, this whole cancel culture thing is just absolutely ridiculous. And it's one of these things where what we want to do when we made our own website with ElijahLoving.com and all that sort of stuff, and made our own crowdfunding platform, one of the things that we want to do with it is that, I don't know, and even though I don't have a problem with locals, or let's say subscribe to our, or those types of things, or even Patreon and supporting art, I think it really comes down to the important fact of supporting artists directly as best as humanly possible. What we wanted to do, and that's where like my thoughts and opinions on like Diamond Distribution, get rid of that middle dude. The middle person has, in particular in comics, has destroyed it in so many ways. And it's just, that's where it's just, I think it's so important to go back to our roots, go back to finding ways to directly support artists. That's what I'm about. And so if that artist is, let's say, for example, let's say they are on Patreon, like Jason Brubaker, I think he's on Patreon. Support his stuff. Absolutely support it through there. But we wanted to take the more of the model of just finding a way to, well, again, take out the middle person altogether and just hack it out of the wilderness with our own two hands, so to speak. So yeah. I don't know what program do you guys like the best? It's always sort of hard to tell as far as what works best. I like Minds. It's kind of a neat little platform. Has lots of possibilities. I think Twitter's just a mess. any way to break the computer algorithm and really make our own algorithm, humet, sort of the human intelligence, human algorithm. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think too, because like I said, I certainly don't have it figured out, but I do think that the importance of finding ways to directly connect with each other. This being one possibility, even though, yes, YouTube has their problems. My God, they have their problems of things you can't say and all sorts of nonsense, which certainly YouTube being sort of a content creator platform, and then ultimately they got sold, and now you're getting pennies on the dollar, even if you are getting like even if you are monetized and then those types of things. So I don't know. Those are just some of my thoughts. Let me finish up this real quick. I did want to finish this, at least one little thing for you guys. Yeah, and so this is really what I want these little podcast streams, whatever you call them, live streams, to be. When we yeah, cool. Yeah, just sort of a Q&A and hang out with you guys and all that sort of good stuff. I get to make the art and have fun making it with you guys. Yeah, 100%. Like it's no joke. It's kind of sad is what it is. But like, hey, one of my favorite quotes, I think, is from Jurassic Park, the first one. I don't know what happened to all the others, but the first Jurassic Park, I remember as a kid, just Gary Oldman, not Gary Oldman. Oh, I can't think of his name. See, again, here it is, the philosopher dude with the cool black glasses and all that sort of stuff. He was life will find a way. Like it's inevitable. Life will find a way. And I think in a lot of ways, that's what this is about. We're going to find a way to connect and share with each other that is outside of impossibilities, because even the greatest sort of scientists can't even predict all the outcomes. And I think that's such a cool thought that I don't remember the exact line, but life will ultimately find a way. Nature has to. It's just, that's just inevitable. So yeah. But that's okay. We'll work around it. We'll figure out a way, which is why we're doing this crowdfund this way. Well, before I finish up here, guys, it just means the world to me, and I don't take this lightly. This is so incredibly exciting to really have this opportunity and to share with you guys, and to share with everybody just the overall process. And like I said from the very beginning, that you guys are more than just backers. You're really investors. You're stockholders in this entire idea of finding ways to independently and directly and being part of, I don't know if I'm part of Comicsgate or not, but I don't know if that's sort of the right term or not, but just being a part of the idea to go across and really do human intelligence and human sort of stuff, and really share with each other on stories that are fun, and entertainment is sort of a thing where I don't want that one. Entertainment is just sort of a thing where to be able to escape and from the crazy world that we've lived in over this past year, and it's been difficult on everybody on all sides, but at the end of the day, it's more than possible. And so exciting to do this with you. And so I just want to also say that thanks for everybody to be a part of this stream. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to be a part of this stream. What I plan to do is try to do these on a weekly basis and just kind of check in with you with the overall development of the project. And I can't wait to absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We do have the power. I couldn't have said it better. And just the importance of the fact that, and I guess that would have to be sort of my overall arching value, is that the thing that I really care about the most is that we not only have the ability or the power, but to overcome impossibilities. And those are my favorite stories by far. Stories that, of course, Lord of the Rings, impossible, the smallest person in the world changing things. Those types of things really reach to my chords, and I hope that I can get 1/nth of that with like this last colony. So I appreciate you. You mean the world to me, everybody. Again, can't do this without you. And we'll see you hopefully in about a week, and we'll keep you updated. Last thing that I do want to say is that if you do join up, you also, there is the email list too. All this will go to the same place, and just to be able to stay connected, and we'll do all that type of stuff too, just to make sure you're staying abreast with the project. And we'll just kind of go from there step by step, and we're venturing into a new wilderness, and that's really exciting. So appreciate you guys, and hope you guys have a good rest of your day. We'll see you later. Bye.